Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Good to see you here. So I recently did 2 videos on counters for tanks. I did tanks and I did some DPS. So this one's gonna cover support. I'm gonna do it a little bit differently. I'm just gonna kind of pull up a graph. I'm not gonna sit there and go through every hero in the training area because I feel like that's kind of boring. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. And keep in mind, I am making this myself. Like, I'm not pulling this from someone else. Like, this is my own content. So let's go ahead and get to it. We're gonna start with Zarya. She's really annoying. So my picks for her would be, I think, Kiriko and Mercy. But I think, there's a few others that are good too, but I think these two work well. I say Mercy because Mercy is typically not like in range of Zarya. And if she is, she can get out of it pretty quickly with her flying ability. Kiriko, kind of the same thing. The thing about Kiriko is she can ding headshots for a lot of damage. So, and Zarya doesn't have a lot of health. So that puts her in a situation where she could potentially, maybe even 1v1 Zarya if she doesn't have full charge. And as long as you're not shooting her bubble, you're probably going to be good. That's not really a hard concept to grasp, but some people still do that. Plus, she can Suzu out of the Graviton Surge. So, I think those are strong picks. Next on the list, I'm going to go ahead and go with D.Va. And these picks are strictly based on like survivability and helpfulness against the tank. So, for me, I'm going to go ahead and go with Brigitte and Lucio. I say Brigitte because of her shield and her self-healing and her, the way she does damage is through her flail. So D.Va can't block that, obviously. Not that, Brigitte's not going to run in and just 1v1 D.Va, but she probably could get close to doing it with her shield. And her ultimate it kind of makes her into another tank almost. She gets that full shield and she gets to stun. So if you're playing D.Va and that comes towards you, you're probably not going to do very well against it. Lucio's a good pick. He the wall climbing and all that stuff like that, he can do that and kind of avoid taking her damage a lot or distract her a little bit. And his ultimate is extremely good for negating the neck bomb. So I think he has a really good way of helping the team survive if they can't get out of that. So those are my picks for supports against D.Va. Next on the list, we'll go ahead and go with Winston. So a good Winston is extremely annoying to deal with. I've got a few picks that I like to go with against him. So I've been doing 2, but I think I'll do more than that. So my picks against Winston are Ana, Baptiste, and Moira. I say those 3 because they have pretty good survivability against Winston. Ana's movement isn't the best, but she's got sleep dart. So if you put a Winston to sleep, tag him, typically your team can kind of capitalize on that. Baptiste, he's got the immortality field. He also has the regen burst. So pretty good way to, survive Winston. Plus his damage output's pretty high. So is Ana's. Ana also has the anti-grenade, so that works really well against him. Moira, she could just dip out with her fade. I mean, there's nothing more to say about that. She can do decent damage too, and she can also throw out heal orb for herself and her team. So I think those are pretty good picks for Winston. So next on the list, we'll go ahead and do Doomfist. I'm a Doomfist main on tank, so I've got a pretty good idea of what works really well against him. So if your team is doing bad against the Doomfist, 2 sure picks are Zenyatta and Ana. So the Doomfist health pool is not very big. That's 450. I know he gets a little bit of overhealth with the Seismic Slam, but that's not always a sure thing. So Ana can sleep him when he's blocking. That's a big thing because usually a Doomfist, like I said before, will dive in, punch, or block. One or the other, and then the other one. So if you get to sleep on a Doomfist, he's probably cooked. Zenyatta's Discord Orb, I mean, on Doomfist, he doesn't have any armor health and his health pool is not very large, like I've already said, so it kind of just melts him like very quickly. Even if he's blocking, it still just does a lot of damage. So those 2 are definitely good picks. Next up on the list, we'll go ahead and do Roadhog. Roadhog is I mean, he's a good tank and he just got some good buffs, so he's going to be kind of tough to deal with. But just like Doomfist, his counters, I'm going to go ahead and go with Ana and Zenyatta again. Zenyatta, the Discord orb, he can't do anything about it. He doesn't have any like armor or anything like that. Now he can heal, but if you have him discorded and people are just laying into him, he's probably not going to out heal that even with his damage reduction. So that's a good one to have. Plus your Transcendence is good to have whenever he pops his ult, because it does a lot of damage, so you can usually out heal it just fine. Keep your team alive, stuff like that. He can still move you, but it's definitely a big help. Ana, you know, she's got the anti-grenade, so if he tries to heal, it doesn't do anything. He does get his damage reduction, but it does block his healing entirely. So that's definitely a big advantage. A sleep dart, same thing. I mean, you can block his healing with it. Another thing with the sleep dart is whenever he's using his ult, if you shoot him with a sleep dart and nobody attacks him, so he just stays asleep, he'll usually time out of his ult, so that kind of makes him waste it. So both good picks. Let me know what you think. Next we'll do Orisa. Orisa is a very annoying tank to deal with. Her abilities are obnoxious. They did kind of give her a little bit of a nerf, but her survivability is like super high. So like she gets really big forgiveness for bad placement and stuff like that. So for Orisa, I think I'm going to go ahead and go with Zenyatta again because of her Fortify. It's just annoying. It's annoying to deal with, so that helps with that a lot. Another good one. So we'll do, I think, Lucio and Lifeweaver. I say these two because they help a lot with survivability for other characters. Like Lucio, for instance, if she pops her ult, you can usually speed boost out of it, or use that to get your team out, or if necessary, you can use your ultimate to provide that sound barrier for your teammates to make sure they don't die if she does end up getting a high charge on it and catches them in it. Lifeweaver, similar situation. He can yank people out of it easily, you know, nothing to that. Or actually, he can throw down his pad. If you throw down your lift right below her when she starts to ult, it's gonna lift her up, and then she's gonna hit nothing. So, you know, that's why I say these three, but I think these are good picks for playing against Orisa. Next up, we'll go ahead and go with Sigma. Sigma is, I think he's a pretty good tank. They did nerf his boulder a while back, but I mean, that's not huge. It kind of is for his one-shot potential, I guess, like his little one-hit or one-kill combo, but I mean, he's still a really good tank, you know, especially for like payload stuff like that. So my picks for Sigma are Moira, because you can attack him through his beam. Also, you can heal a lot around him. You know, his attack, it does a good amount of damage, but you can usually out heal it if you have your orb and your spray ready. You can also usually fade out of his ult, so that's kind of a big deal. Mercy's a good one. She can heal people faster than he can kill them usually. Valkyrie's really good. My thing with Mercy is he can't really hit her that well, because if you use the movement like you're supposed to, go up in the air, go around, stuff like that, he's gonna have a really hard time attacking you. So you shouldn't be like, he shouldn't be much of an issue or a threat to you. Yeah, the DPS might be, but he shouldn't be. Brig is also a really good option. She can attack through his shield, she can attack through his absorb, she can stun him. If you get it right, you can stun him out of his ult, or you can stun him out of using the boulder, either one. But I think Brig's a good choice as well. So next up is Wrecking Ball. Wrecking Ball is a massive nuisance. A good one is very difficult to deal with because they just don't stay still. They're always gone, always going behind cover. But there are some good choices you could do for support to help deal with that. Those two for me are Ana and Zen. Now, you're gonna see Ana and Zen a lot in this. You already have, so don't be surprised. Ana is very anti-tank, and so is Zen. So these are very good options for him. Zen, Discord, you know, break him down faster. That's really all there is to that. Easy. Plus, I guess if you have your ult, you can just blow through his minefield with it if you want to. So that's an okay use if it's in the way. Usually on payload, that's a good option because his minefield can be a very big nuisance on payload. Ana can anti him. She can also sleep him. So if you sleep Wrecking Ball and your team just jumps on him, you can usually take him out and not have to worry about him for a minute until he respawns. So yeah, I think Ana and Zen are very good options to play against Wrecking Ball. Getting towards the end, next on the list is Junker Queen. She's a pretty good tank right now. Ever since that buff, she's been excellent. She's really aggressive. She can really push. She's got a little bit of forgiveness because of her self healing. Like if you get a knife throw, a stab, or an axe slash all in like unison, like it keeps you alive pretty well. You know, it may not do like a lot, but sometimes it's honestly just enough to keep you alive in a fight with a little bit of heals from a support or something, so you end up winning. So she's pretty good. My picks against her, the first one's gonna be Ana. She's gonna be a good pick for almost every tank, realistically. Some are a little bit better than her on some tanks, but honestly, like, she is a very good pick on almost every single tank. But she can obviously sleep Junker Queen if she's like going for an axe slash or something, like, or I mean, this isn't something you should go for, but you could dart her out of her ultimate while she's dashing if it's towards you. That's something. But if you hit her with your anti, it kind of blocks her healing, her self-healing, and that's one of her biggest things. She does have her shout, which does give her a little bit of overhealth, but that is temporary. But other than that, you know, Ana's a good pick. The other good pick I would have to say is probably Yuriko. She's a strong choice in almost any situation right now with her damage potential and also her honestly good healing and the cleanse, of course. So with Junker Queen, she can obviously do a lot of damage to her, stuff like that. She can out heal her damage for the most part, not always, because she can do a lot of damage, but her cleanse is huge on Junker Queen because she can take her ultimate, the Rampage, and just completely nullify it if you have it ready. So if she dashes through and all your team gets antied because she does the bleeding, you stop the damage and you stop the anti, so that kind of just, you know, her ult becomes nothing at that point. So I think Kiriko's a great choice as well. Next up is Reinhardt is a really good tank. He did get a little bit of a nerf, but he's still pretty good. So my picks against him are Lucio, Ana, and Lifeweaver. Lucio because of his speed boost. If you can get away from him, he has to hit you with fire strikes. That's very useful. Your sound barrier also is very helpful for if your team gets knocked down by a shatter. You can usually do that and save them from, you know, a pin or something like that. Ana can obviously sleep him, anti him. She's an anti-tank, you know. Always a good choice. The sleep is very helpful if he's charging you, so keep that in mind. Or if you time it right, you can sleep him out of his ult. It's a very small window, but it is, I mean, it's extremely possible. Like, I've done it many times. I've had it happen to me, you know, it's nothing crazy. Lifeweaver is also a good one because he can pull people out of his shatter if he knocks them down, save them from a pin, stuff like that. He can also potentially throw down his platform and have him go on it when he charges to go over people. I know that sounds silly, but I mean, he can do that. So those are my choices for Reinhardt. So last on the list is Ramattra. The choices for him are going to be exactly the same as Ryan for slightly different reasons, but I think they're good choices. So with Lucio, obviously the speed boost is good to have against Ramattra. You know, if you can get away from his punching, you know, it's not really super like worrisome. There's also Ramatra's ult. It does the wide area damage. So if you have your ult and you pop that, you can usually keep your team nice and boosted up to where they can just kill him. So that's a big help. Ana, you know, you can hit somebody with the nano boost. They can usually take him on, even if he's ulting. You can sleep him if he's ulting and get away from him. That way his ult runs out. That's incredibly useful. Obviously, anti is good against every tank. Lifeweaver is one that you can throw down his tree when he's ulting and kind of make it, like, you can almost nullify it, to be completely honest. It's very useful. So that's a good option. Another good one is to yank somebody out of his ult or just away from him if he's attacking him with your pull. Which, I mean, that's good for almost any tank, but it's definitely good for Ramattra because he's more close range in his Nemesis form. And of course, his platform is useful for if you want to lift up out of his ult. It, you know, helps it run out faster. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please keep in mind, if you made it this far, please understand, this is not like me saying you have to play these characters against these characters. Like, I'm not like a big authority in Overwatch. I just play the game a lot. I love the game. That's it. I'm fairly decent at the game. I know how to do a lot of stuff. I know how to do the counters, blah, 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 you know. So there are a lot of other good picks for these tanks. These are just the ones that I personally think are really good. That's all it is. So that being said, I hope everybody has a great day, great night. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and like. Come back next time, and I'll see you then.